The staticky sound of the TV stirred me from my dreams, a chilling darkness seeping into every corner of my room. An eerie glow spilled from the living room, painting my world in shades of an unsettling blue. The familiar shapes of my home distorted, my couches moved, a tangible sense of unease thrumming in the air. An uncanny silence enveloped the apartment, broken only by the distant drone of the television. A familiar childhood cartoon flickered on the screen, a momentary comfort before it switched to a haunting image of a missing girl. The TV screen buzzed with an old Daffy Duck episode, the nostalgia interrupted by a distorted image of a girl. The comforting antics of the duck were superseded by the girl's wide eyes, two white dots in the middle, staring out from the screen. Her features were a blur, a swirl of incomprehensible imagery that seemed to invade the comfort of my living room. The animated colors of the cartoon were replaced by a stark, chilling static, the room now a mimicry of the television's eerie glow. At the bottom of the screen, pixelated text spelled out a word that sent a shiver down my spine. Missing. A phone number followed, though the digits were illegible, lost in the distortion. The sense of unease grew, a creeping dread that seemed to echo the ominous hum of the television. The broadcast cut off abruptly, leaving me in a state of dread, the illegible text of a phone number lingering on the screen. An eerie sound echoed down the hallway, the faint patter of footsteps approaching. Out of the inky abyss, a figure began to form. It was the girl from the broadcast, her image distorted as if pulled from the very fabric of a nightmare. Her eyes, wide and haunting, were two pinpricks of light in the otherwise consuming darkness. The rest of her face, however, remained a blurry swirl, just as it had been on the television. A cold shiver ran down my spine as she came closer, her spectral form shimmering in the dim light. The air seemed to thicken, the silence of the apartment broken only by the distant hum of the now silenced television and her soft, ghostly footsteps. The feeling of dread that had been simmering now roared into a full-blown terror, each heartbeat pounding in my ears like a war drum. Her eyes, those two white dots, pierced through me, illuminating the darkest corners of my soul. An uncanny recognition washed over me, a chilling realization that made my blood run cold. The distorted girl, the apparition in my living room, was eerily familiar. She's my daughter, I'm sure of it. The same wide eyes, the same indistinct face, only now twisted into a visage of sorrow and fear. I sent her back to her room, locked the door and turned off the TV, plunging the apartment back into darkness. The silence was deafening, the darkness all-consuming, but the image of her haunting eyes stayed with me, etched into my mind's eye. Picture this. A typical Friday night hanging with the guys at our favorite haunt, Bar Louie's. The atmosphere is electric, the drinks flowing, the banter on point. The night was shaping up to be a solid one, nothing extraordinary, just the right amount of ordinary. The kind of night where the laughter comes easy, the stories flow, and the world outside doesn't seem to matter. It was one of those nights where you feel a sense of belonging, a sense of camaraderie that's as intoxicating as the drinks we were downing. Then, the call of nature struck. An unavoidable interruption to an otherwise perfect night. I scooted out of my booth, my exit marked by the awkward shuffle and apologetic smiles that come with it. I made my way to the men's room, navigating through the sea of patrons, completely unaware of the uncanny turn my night was about to take. So, there I am, weaving through the crowd, heading towards the men's room, completely oblivious to what was about to unfold. As I'm zipping up, the noise outside the restroom door just stops. The deafening silence hits me like a punch. Emerging from the restroom, I'm met with an uncanny sight. The bustling atmosphere of Bar Louie's has evaporated into thin air, leaving a void that's both eerie and unsettling. The bar is deserted, as if the crowd had vanished into smoke. The stools are vacant, the glass is untouched, and the air hangs heavy with a silence so profound it's almost tangible. I'm alone in a place that was teeming with life just moments ago. Turning my gaze outside, the sky seems to mirror my confusion. It's darker than usual, painted with strokes of crimson red that add to the strange aura. The streets too are uncharacteristically bare. It's as if the world has pressed pause. Then I see him. The lone bartender, a solitary figure amidst the spectral silence. I approach him, trying to make sense of it all. His words to me, "Run, this is our chance." The bartender bolts towards a hidden staircase. I'm caught between the desire to follow and a gut feeling that something's terribly wrong. I stand there, frozen in the eerie silence, debating the right course of action. The bartender's urgent plea to follow him echoes in my mind, but my instincts scream at me to retreat. With a final glance at the mysterious staircase, I turn around and head back to the restroom. I splash cold water on my face, hoping to wash away the unnerving experience. As if on cue, the familiar hum of chatter and clinking glasses filters back in. I step out and the bar has sprung back to life just as it was before. But the bartender is nowhere to be seen. I return to my friends trying to shake off the unease, but as my friend comments on my prolonged absence, I notice that every eye in the bar is on me. They're all smiling, too widely, too eagerly. I can't shake off the feeling that I've just walked into a trap. Winter has arrived once again. With it, they have returned. The long chilling nights have become their hunting grounds, their stage for a macabre play of shadows and screams. These beings, some almost human-like, others crawling on all fours, are as elusive as they are terrifying. They trick you with familiar voices like the spectral echo of my mother's plea from beyond the grave, a voice silenced 6 years ago. The poor, we're their victims. The city's forgotten, left behind in the chilling embrace of winter, with only rumors of our fate reaching the ears of the privileged. Could it be that our lives were traded for the safety of the affluent? We who clean their homes, deliver their meals, and receive nothing but the crumbs of their prosperity. We were already slowly dying, the shadows just sped that up. If anything, it was a mercy. Tonight I was awoken again by a voice at the door. Not the shrill shriek of a terrified neighbor, but a soft feminine whisper that coaxed me from my restless slumber. It was a shadow, but it had taken the form of an enticing woman, her hair a fiery cascade, her lips a promise of sweetness. My heart pounded like a drum against my chest as I peered through the peephole, entranced by the vision before me. In a moment of despair, I found myself bargaining with the darkness. "I know what you are," I confessed, "but I have a proposition." The night held its breath as I continued. "I'll let you in, I'll accept my fate. But you must keep this form, you must let me have you. One night of ecstasy before I succumb to the inevitable." There was a pause, a beat of silence that hung heavy in the frosty air before the shadow responded. "I accept." With trembling hands I unlocked the door. Her eyes were completely black. We kissed. We were already slowly dying, the small pleasures of life a barely palatable distraction from the crushing agony of existence. This nightly visitor, this shadowy specter, was just another grim reminder of our inevitable end. Yet there was something enticing about its presence, a dark allure in its promise of an end. I'd made my proposition, laid bare my desperation and desire for a final moment of passion, a moment to feel alive, even as I willingly stepped towards death. The shadow, in its strange, ethereal way, had agreed. In the silence of that winter night, there was an eerie clarity, a realization that the choice I'd made was not born out of fear, but from a deep longing for control over my destiny. I'd chosen to embrace the shadow, to face the unknown rather than endure the agonizing monotony of my existence. At least this way it was my choice. At least this way I could embrace the void,